And we are live. This is Travis from Trade with Travis, Carter Cow Capital, Expert Advisor Reviews. Hopefully, everybody is doing very well on this Wednesday morning. I have 6:32. What's going on? I want to make sure I end up saying hey to everybody as we end up going through that. As we go through today and being able to take a look at what's happening with the charts, what's happening with everything else from a trader perspective, I want to make sure that there we go. I wanted to make sure that everyone can be able to be in the know about what's going on with that. But before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and get through the disclaimer, and we will go ahead and go forward. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from that education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. And understand that trading involves risk, and involves risk of being able to make money, also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it is not promised that you can end up making money today. So with that being said, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing very well. My name is Travis. If you're not familiar with who I am, I basically end up going on TradingView, going on all these other social media pages, end up talking trades. That's what we end up doing. And essentially for the next 25 minutes, what we're going to end up doing is reviewing what ended up happening yesterday and seeing what we can be able to do today for some overall trading activity, and also be able to talk about what's happening with the automation systems and everything else like that to be able to keep everybody in the know when it comes down to that. If I end up providing any value for you, please make sure that you end up clicking on that boost button or be able to support like that. But super excited to be able to have everybody be able to pop on. So let's go ahead and go through it. Today, what's happening? We have a trader's date, which means that there's not going to be a lot of news when it comes down to fundamentals that's going to end up making the market be able to shift based off of just the fundamentals alone. We end up having ISM PMIs that's going to happen for the United States dollar, and then after that, we're going to end up having FOMC meeting minutes. That's going to end up happening at 2 o'clock. Anytime the FOMC comes out, remember that's Jerome Powell. Anytime that Jerome Powell speaks, then the market moves. So please keep that in mind as you go through your trading day and being able to figure out what you're going to end up doing. More than likely, what's going to end up happening, because it is the new year, the market is still trying to figure out if it's going to end up breaking out of these consolidation ranges that we're looking at, and which I'm going to show on the charts. But more than likely at 2 o'clock, there's going to end up being some big movement. So I do expect that from the trading that's going to end up happening in the next few hours, it'll probably end up being some type of big move, some type of retracement. It will consolidate right around that 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock time. And then after that, after the news comes out, then after that, you'll start seeing the market kind of move from there. So we might end up having a little bit of an action-packed day at the end as the market kind of moves on. Going into Thursday and going into Friday, remember we have non-farm payroll. So I think that if we're going to end up having any type of pop-up move, it's going to end up happening today. It probably won't happen tomorrow. It'll probably happen today. You'll probably have a little bit of consolidation tomorrow. Then after that, we end up having a somewhat of a move on Friday when it comes down to non-farm payroll. Now, with that being said, as you are watching online, if there's a trading pair that you would like to be able to go through, what's going on, Block? If there's a trading pair that you would like to be able to talk about, please place it inside of the chat. I have a couple chats that are running right now at this particular point between the places that we're restreaming to. So I want to make sure that I'm fair to everybody. If you have a pair that you would like to be able to take a look at, place it inside of the chat, and we end up going from there. United States dollar index. Let's go ahead and get started with this one. We take a look at it from a weekly perspective. Market ended up pushing all the way up to 13,556 before being able to fall out of this consolidation box in this overall channel as a whole. Since then, the market has failed to a support of 12,814 and a resistance of 12,960. We take a look at that from a daily perspective. We can be able to see that we've been inside of this range. And if you watch me trade before, let's see, I took a 2-week vacation from the markets just back in, just in time for the Powell speech. Yep. I did the same. I stopped trading on the 15th. Been trading pretty much all year. Ended up having a very good year overall, but it was like, yeah, let's go ahead and shut it down. Let's go ahead and enjoy the family. But consolidation side of here, 12,815 is the support, 12,960 is the resistance. As long as we're in the middle of this, we have a 33% chance of being able to win. I'm not interested in taking a trade at 33%. I'll wait for the market to be able to fall out of these overall areas. Now the question is, once they fall out of this area, where's the market going to end up going? Well, you end up taking a look at a couple things. One, you can look at bottom profile. You can look at support resistance. Um, you can be able to go through whatever metric that you end up looking at when it comes down to price action, but that's where the price is going to potentially end up going. So I'm going to take a look at the 2 hour just for the sake of this, because I don't think a US dollar index has a bottom profile. I'm pretty sure it does, but I'm not going to go on TradingView to find out, at least not yet. The next major support, we take a look at the left. It's probably going to end up being right around that 12,595 area, but I'm going to go to areas where it has tapped before. So I'm going to say 12,625 as the next area where it could fall. So if it breaks the support, it will go to this next support at 12,630, in which I'm going to end up making this one a little bit larger, and I'm going to make it, I'm going to end up making it green at this particular point. So if the market falls, that's the area where I think it could potentially end up going. Obviously, we didn't see any other. I don't see any other natural support areas aside from right here and right here where the market actually ended up falling before. So that would be the area where, if I'm taking a trade, that's the position where I think it'll be going down to. From a resistance standpoint, we already have those numbers from before. Remember, if the market breaks a resistance, it will end up going to the next resistance. The previous resistance was right here at this point at 13,070. So I would treat 13,070 as the landing point where I would like to be able to get out if the market ends up falling. So here's the game plan, because we've done been inside of this consolidation box for a little bit. Stop loss will end up being above the last swing low before the market actually end up falling towards the downside. Now, we don't have a swing low yet. I'll probably take a look at the hour time frame to be able to see what that actually is. Currently, right now, I'm sorry, swing high, not swing low. Currently, right now, that's the last point where it ends up going. I don't like that position from a risk reward standpoint. So I'm actually hoping that the market would do something like this, make another pop up to the upside. Then after that fall, and once it falls, the stop loss will end up being pretty much right around wherever that high price is before being able to make a move. So I'm not going to place in a full pending order as of yet until that actually happens. But I will make sure that everyone knows what that position actually is. We'll place that in as an idea out on the chart so everybody can be able to see it. But that would be the take profit position of where I would like to be able to get out if that does happen for its overall movement. We do know that 12,630 will be the take profit if it falls down to that area. The high price, we can kind of use these numbers right here. We can see that that was another resistance, or that was support that ended up happening right there in that position. So let's see what this number actually is, and that will be my stop loss for if it breaks out to the upside. Anywhere right around 12,908 will end up being a stop loss for the buy if the market does break out to the upside. So here's your risk. Trading smart trader got to do a little bit better with this control now. That's weird. And here is your take profit from there. Any questions when it comes down to that? Any questions? If y'all don't have any questions, then I just leave this as an idea. And once we end up getting a swing high, I can be able to truly have the stop loss for the sell trade. But the buy trade, I'm okay with 12,908. Take profit will be 13,070. Okay. All right, cool. Good to go. I'm going to leave that right there. I'll come back to it if anybody ends up having a question. Let's go ahead and take a look at U.S. oil. U.S. oil, we were talking about hoping that this market was going to end up falling, but we were running out of room when it came down to take profit. As we take a look at it from a weekly perspective, the market pushed all the way up to 127 in the middle of 2022 because of the Russian and Ukraine war. From there, market fell down into a channel, broke all the way up to 94.59. We ended up taking profits on those within last year. Then after that, started to reject again. We ended up taking another profit at 77.11 when the market started to fall down at that particular point one time before as well. From that standpoint, we can see that the stochastic and what's happening for its price action is not necessarily agreeing. We can clearly see that the market is moving to the downside. And earlier yesterday, we ended up having a strong movement to the downside for its overall move, and basically a bearish. Let's say bullish engulfing, but we can also call that an evening star. Well, that's not an indecision candlestick, so no, we can't call it evening star. I call it a bullish engulfing. But full counter trend line break in the sell zone. We can see that the market is still moving to the downside. The question is, should we be interested in being able to make any type of move off of this? The extension is expected to be 64.37 currently right now. If we take a look at that from a points perspective, it's about 103 points to the downside off of that. If we were to place any type of trade off of this, the stop loss will have to be above the swing high, which would be up here. So you're risking 70 for 100. I don't like that risk reward. So I'm probably going to end up passing on this unless we can be able to get a little bit better of a retracement. We can see the 2 hours in the buy zone. Because of 2 hours in the buy zone, that would stop me from trading anyway. But what I would hope to be able to happen or be able to see is this market ends up. I like the market to be able to give us a little bit of a retracement. Once we end up having that next retracement, if we can get a counter trend line breakout for that and it starts to be able to fall, then that's the sale that I would like to be able to take. I'm not going to jump into this because the market's already done moved on this trade. So I'll be looking for something to the equivalent of that. And if that happens, then after that, I'd be interested in being able to jump in. Until then, I'm going to stay away for right now. We already done missed the move. There's no reason to sit up there and try to jump into it now. Okay. Gold. Anybody trading gold out there today? Anybody? Okay. Well, remember, our game plan was pretty simple. We ended up talking about, we felt that gold was going to end up going up to 1872. From last year's trading, right before we end up leaving out and block, I'm going to end up using you as a reference on this one. Remember, we ended up talking about how gold was in consolidation. It broke out at 1811. As soon as it broke out at 1811, it ended up going inside of consolidation all the way up to 1820. Remember, we ended up taking profit off of this. And then after that, obviously, the new year ended up starting. From there, the market stayed within this overall consolidation area because we could see that that was the resistance. As soon as they broke out at 1811 again, then after that, start pushing up towards 1872. Remember, when the market breaks a resistance, it's going to move to another resistance. Well, the resistance that we end up seeing off of this actually ended up happening in May. And because it ended up happening in May and we end up having this top move right here, we knew that 1872 was the actual high. So we had a very large spot or a very large space that we could be able to take advantage of. And unfortunately for me, and hopefully fortunate enough for other people that end up trading in this area right around that Christmas time, you end up taking the trades necessarily to be able to get into this trade because the market actually ended up moving on the 29th. I stopped live trading after the 15th. So missed out on this move. For people that end up doing it, congratulations. For the people that end up getting in yesterday based off of this counter trend line break, congratulations. We end up talking about that as well. But there you go. If you're in gold, 1872 would be the place where I'd be holding off at. There's the 2 hour in the sell zone right now, so we may end up seeing the market kind of move to the downside just a little bit. Remember, I believe that the market is going to end up having, I think the market's going to end up having somewhat of a shallow move this morning. And then after that, we probably might end up seeing some type of deliberate move depending on what's happening with FOMC. So look to see if you can be able to get another counter trend line break and see if you can be able to rise this up to 1872 for all my scalpers. For my swing traders, I wouldn't do anything with this. I will look and see if there's any other pair that we can be able to get into. Okay, Bitcoin. What's happening with Bitcoin? Bitcoin still in consolidation. We got a little bit of a move. I might start trading gold. There's a gold crypto stable coin that's fair with the gold price. You want to say good morning? Yeah. Okay, well, hold on. Come here. All right, say good morning. Good morning. No, look in the camera and say good morning. Good morning. Okay, say how you doing? How you doing? All right, go. No, you cannot get my phone. Go upstairs. Go. Let's see. Bitcoin is pretty much still in that same place that that we talked about yesterday. Support is 15,800 and resistance at 18,240. We're in the middle of that. We're in the middle of that position. That's a 33% chance of being able to do anything. I would like to be able to see what's going to happen during FOMC before being able to make a move. For my people that love being able to trade the news within this overall point, we can see that there's a built-out consolidation right now in this area. I'm going to say that that is the resistance, even though it hasn't necessarily tapped that enough. And I'm going to say that that's the support. Let's encompass everything. That's the tight support. The tight resistance is right here. Meaning that if it does break out of this area, it's going to end up pushing out towards those outside numbers. So let's be a little bit more aggressive and kind of right around there. So 16,000, what's that resistance number? 16,950. 16,950 is the actual resistance. And 16,500 is the natural support. The market ends up breaking below those numbers, and after that, you probably might end up seeing some type of move. I believe that it's going to break out of this area during FOMC. The question is, what's going to happen after that? Obviously, we're in a larger scale consolidation. I don't trade Bitcoin for long-term movements anymore. So if I'm looking at it, I'm looking for a short-term move, and if it does pop out of those areas, then after that, I may consider looking at being able to do that. The band, what's going on? Hope everything's going well. Words, what's going on? Hope everything's going well with you. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm going to say up for those and kind of see what's going on with everything else. US 30. US 30 is in another tight consolidation range as well. My charts are going to look kind of weird on this one because I got to start deleting some of this stuff. But I'll trend real quick. Ikimoku Cloud is saying that the market is bullish. We can see that we broke out of a consolidation spot from that November 11th, November 10th area to December 15th, which was the last day that we end up officially stopped trading here. Now we can see that we're basically back inside of the middle of a consolidation, and I'm not going to say it's a high volume node, but it is. Yeah, we can somewhat say it's a high volume node. I don't know if y'all can see this right here. Yeah, I'm going to consider this to be a high volume node just because of what price actually is. But the market has tightened up, and we can see that that is the defined support right there. That's in that yellow area. I'm going to move that down so everybody can be able to see what that actual price is. Okay. Resistance is at 32,850. Support is at 32,850. If the market breaks below 32,850, I'll be interested in sales. Market breaks below 32,440, which was the same number that we looked at before, then I'll be interested in looking at buys. Now, for the people that are looking at this from a scalping opportunity to be able to make a move, it is safe to say that if it breaks out of this area, I think that you end up having a high probability trade if you end up looking to be able to take it just to that spot right there. So we're talking about from 34,440 all the way up to 34,590. I think that is a very solid position to where you can be able to get in, get out, and kind of move on with your life if that ends up happening. That's from a buying perspective. But remember, when you break a resistance, it will move to another resistance. The market will eventually end up getting up to the 33,787 number or 33,780 number. But the best trade, I think the easiest trade, if you're going to look at being able to get anything out of this, will probably end up being this window and this pocket that we end up having in between this low volume node that's right in here. Okay, that's for its buys. For a selling position, if the market ends up breaking below, the 32,850 area. Market ends up breaking below the 32,850 area. Then after that, we'll go back to the halfway point. Yes, baby, go play with them. There you go. If the market ends up breaking below that 32,850 area, the question is, where is it going to go? We have a better chance of a larger drop, but we take a look at it from a high volume node perspective and kind of attack the low volume nodes. We're going to end up saying 32,290 will be the pocket that I will look at being able to take profit in from there. So let's get a game plan for sell trades. Sell trades from here to here. Stop loss will be just above that large peak of high volume node. I don't know if y'all can hear my son in the background. Let's see. 33.75 will end up being a stop loss.
I forgot to switch basketballs.
Huh?
Switch basketballs.
Do you want to go in the garage?
Yeah.
Keep the door open.
Okay.
Put on shoes. I don't know if I should feel happy about that or not. If he wants to go outside at 6 a.m. in the morning and shoot basketballs, I think that's actually a proud moment of mine. Market breaks the resistance at 32,440. This is more of a scalping opportunity if you're trying to look at being able to buy. If we're being safe, 32,590 will end up being a take profit. Your stop loss is going to have to be definitely tighter. It's going to end up looking like a 1-to-1. If it is a 1-to-1, I don't personally like taking 1-to-1s. But people that do like taking 1-to-1s for as a scalp, then make sure that you end up having a trail stop that runs behind it very quickly for that overall movement. But once we end up getting a true fractal low in this position and seeing this market kind of go up and then do that and then make its move, then you can place your stop loss below that overall low and kind of go from there. Until then, I'm going to kind of stay away from it, at least for right now. And kind of go from there. I'm going to stay away from it, but I do have a game plan. And from there, what I will end up doing is that I end up placing out an idea on the Discord so people can be able to take a look at it. Better than actually play video games. Yeah, maybe. I guess. They didn't start getting into that PS5, so finally they're getting to be able to play together and do stuff together. Instead of both of them just being on an iPad the whole time. Let's see. All right, so we got that done. Let's talk about what's happening with the automation systems real quick. Boss, yeah. Let's see. That's what I like to see. So just to kind of give y'all a little bit of idea about what's going on, I'm doing prop firm challenges with some of the automation systems that I have created. Currently, right now, I'm going through FTMO just to be able to kind of understand what's happening with that. I did a trial one. Thinking about being able to do a live one going into the 9th. Currently, right now, we end up having a trade on DAX that ended up happening. So let's take a look at that one. Let's see what's going on with that. And I can kind of see why I ended up making a move that it did. And that'll be the last trade that we'll talk about today. So, yes, son. Give me 1 second. I got one more chart. And then after that, I come out there. All right. So, German 40 pushed all the way up to the resistance of 14,570. We end up having support and resistance prices from there. We end up having a sale right before we left out of here where we end up saying that the market could fall all the way down to 13,770. And Lord knows, look at it. It literally popped right below that actual spot, hit take profit, and went from there. The exact way that we thought it was going to end up going. And the reason why we thought it was going to go that way was because, once again, you take a look at what's happening with high volume nodes, or you take a look at what's happening with the nodes, we end up having this area where the market kind of fell out to that support, which was the bottom of that resistance, or which turned that past resistance into a future support right in this area. So I'm mad that I didn't take the trade all the way through because of the time that it ended up happening. But I am happy to see that that it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. Now, since then, let's talk about where we're at now, so we can be able to use that to our advantage for us being able to trade. Euro United States dollar. I'll take a look at that one. So here's our consolidation. Market broke out of consolidation. I'm guessing a little bit earlier yesterday. It's done pushed right back inside of this overall consolidation points that we end up talking about from. I'm going to call this. I call it from there from 12:15. I mean, it ended off at 12:15 when it broke inside of that area. So we've broken a resistance. I do expect that the market's going to push up to another resistance, but we're basically at the point of control currently right now when it comes down to price. That's the reason why I think that we're probably going to see a little bit of people start to take profit and kind of edge up. The automation system caught it this morning, so I'm actually happy about that. I'll look for a counter trend line break to see if the market's going to end up falling down before doing anything else. But there's really no trade to jump into. I think that the market will probably fall down to that 12,285 number, kind of consolidate from there, and then after that, look at being able to break a resistance from there. I have a basketball in my hand. All right, everybody, just I gotta finish one last chart, then after that, I gotta shoot my son before I go to work. Euro United States dollar. What's happening with this one? Weekly perspective. Market was inside of that large consolidation from 124 all the way down to parity. Remember, it broke below parity at some point. We talked about how Euro United States dollar, pound United States dollar, and US yen were going to end up being the benefactors of the United States dollar getting weak. Currently, right now, we can see that the market has created a fractal high of 1.0735, but the market has not failed down as of yet.
Dad,
So, kind of suggesting.
Dad, you told me this was it on the run?
Yes.
What's that?
I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm coming. Market at this point is in the sell zone from a weekly perspective. I would not look at being able to keep on buying off of this one as of yet. I want to see how the market's going to end up reacting until a little bit later on today. So to be honest, Crane, I probably won't take a trade off of this pair until I know what's going to end up happening for the FOMC meeting minutes a little bit later on today. But we will talk about this. Kind of extensively after we end up getting that news. I do know that we see consolidation right here, but it wouldn't surprise me if the market stays inside of this consolidation until about 2 o'clock, once the market ends up kind of making this decision on what's going to happen for the movement, and we'll kind of go from there. But stay tuned. We'll end up talking about that a little bit later on. Did you like what
I want my blue ball.
Okay, give me a second. If you like what we end up doing, please make sure that you end up clicking on that boost button. If you're obviously watching this on the red channel, make sure that you end up subscribing. I do appreciate each and every one of y'all being able to pop in here for a little bit of time that we end up talking. Like always, make sure that you end up planning your trade your plan. I see each and every one of y'all in the next video. Take it easy. All right, let's go, big man.